things are heating up in key races across the country. Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, Pennsylvania, all with big races tomorrow.
Absolutely. For more, let's bring in pollster at McLaughlin and Associates in the Trump 2020 campaign, Jim McLaughlin. Jim, good morning to you. Busy couple of days, right, for sure. I want to start in Pennsylvania because over the weekend we had former President Barack Obama there. We had President Biden. We had former President Trump there as well. Do you think any of these presidents made a difference? And also, what do you think? Do you think we're going to know who wins Pennsylvania by Wednesday morning?
That's a good question about are we going to know? Because, you know, I always find it amazing. A place like Florida, and you got to give Rick Scott when he was governor there credit, and Ron DeSantis, by about 9:30 at night in 2020, they were able to tell us who won. They had all the votes counted, and they vote early in person. They vote early by mail, and obviously on Election Day. And then in these places like Pennsylvania, and I remember New York in the last mayor's race, it's taken them days and sometimes weeks to count votes.
Right.
So we should know. And if we don't know, that's some of the problems that raise suspicions. And we all remember after 2020, it looked like the Republicans had only lost about 30 seats in the midterms. But then all these vote by mails came in, the ballot harvesting in places like California, and they lost like Republicans lost about 7 seats.
Yeah, I think a lot of people went to bed election night 2020, you know, 10, 11 o'clock thinking Donald Trump had won re-election. They woke up the next morning and say, whoa, you know, what happened? And it happened quick. Okay, I'm going to throw 3 races out. Washington State, we've got Tiffany Smiley there. Colorado, Joe O'Dea, he's running against Michael Bennet. And then New Hampshire, Don Bulldog, Maggie Hassan. Where do we see a surprise?
Yep. And look, I would not be shocked if the Republicans win any of those races. I think Colorado is probably the toughest because the Republicans are getting a lot of momentum, but they've been voting for weeks in Colorado because of all the early voting. Remember when not too long ago, the fake narrative that Don Bulldog, an American general, an American hero, they were telling us he was such a bad candidate.
Right.
He's got a big run going on there right now, and that's going to be really close. Early in the night, what happens in New Hampshire could bode really well if Republicans do well there. It's probably going to be a long night for the Democrats. And I'm not involved at all in the Washington Senate race, but I've been told from people on the ground, Tiffany Smiley has been an incredible candidate, run a great campaign. And the fact that she's got Patty Murray under that all-important 50% threshold for an incumbent, I think that's going to be a really interesting race to watch.
Let's go to Arizona, Kari Lake and Katie Hobbs. That's also very, very close in the polls. What do you think will happen?
Oh, I think Kari Lake is going to win that race. And I think, again, you're seeing these undecided voters fall in for Kari Lake. And what's interesting, too, is you have Kari Lake going out there and campaigning and doing videos. She's staying in Arizona, but she's trying to help other Republican candidates across the country. So that tells you the star power of Kari Lake. And she hasn't even been elected governor of Arizona yet.
That's what I was going to say, Jim, because we see Ron DeSantis campaigning for Lee Zeldin. DeSantis, pretty popular down there in Florida. Looks like a re-election for him is a foregone conclusion. But Kari Lake hasn't even been elected yet, and she's campaigning for other candidates. That says something. Jim, we'll do it again tomorrow and Wednesday. Big couple of days coming up. Thank you.
By the way, you guys have been great this morning. I've loved the show.
Thank you. Thank you. I feel like I'm so sad that I can't speak.
I'm telling him not to speak during commercial. I won't let him talk to me.
She won't talk to me.
Save his voice. Like, I'm not talking to you.
I know.
He's playing hurt and he's doing great.
Yeah.
Darn right. I wouldn't miss it. I couldn't sleep last night. All right, Jim McLaughlin, thank you. We'll see you soon.